Welcome back, Divine Feminine. We're here to do your energy update for the week. Yes, whenever you land on this can be relevant. It is our intuitive energy for the month and beyond. Now, I have pulled the cards and sat with the energy because I do feel it's quite important that we do title these videos so that we get some context as to what is going on with the energy of the direct update. Now, I will have the cards on screen. We will also pull clarifiers to see what's going on and how to get the best both out of our energy through our ascension path. Now, the first energy we do have coming up is the Clover. Now, really what we are looking for, and especially this month, can particularly be that we are looking for that clarity. You know, Lady Luck is on our side. We also can want a bit more spiritual protection. But it's almost like opportunities are going to present themselves. But again, you know, potentially we can feel a bit apprehensive to do with it, but we're wanting that protection. We're wanting that assurity. A lot of what you have gone through, a lot of what you're moving into, especially when we look at situations to do with cycles, that can be lack of communication, it can be breakups, makeups, all of those cycles that we directly go through, they're all directly serving a purpose. And I definitely talk about them being your toolkit for your future moving forward. And nothing is wasted. It's a bit like all those crumbs we got in our lifetime. We pick them up and we can make a whole loaf of bread. So it's not in vain. It is for a direct reason. And I feel that if we can look at it that way, we're going to get the best out of this energy that we're directly dealing with currently within the context of our own personal lives, as well as with the connection. Now, in tuning into this, there is a lot to do with the higher heart chakra. And I really do spiritually feel this is coming up for Divine Feminine. So it can be initially that there are triggers coming up. It can be that we're a little bit more protective of ourselves, and we can uncover these things. That can be like jewels in the rough. You are right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead. Now, I can guarantee a lot of you aren't feeling that way, but it is something on your minds. Is there positivity? You know, I saw this wonderful video and it was a short and it was on Facebook. And in looking at it, you know, it was a song. And this individual was bringing other individuals into the circle with their song and, you know, asking them to really, you know, busk and do something different and add their vibe to the song. The song itself was the first time, and this is gospelly honest, this is the first time I've heard a positive song. A little bit like Rita Ora, I don't want to hear no more sad songs anymore. And I think what we're really wanting to see is some positivity in the world, some energy that is uplifting and upbeat, something to look forward to. And I think the buck really stops here. Regardless, I do feel a lot of us can be feeling, you know, where is that light? Where is that luck? You know, can we make that luck, or are we just going to do the 9 to 5, the grind, so to speak? And that can be more a metaphor than directly the whole context of what this energy is about. So it's how do we turn our wounds into positive weapons? And it's more, you know, turning a negative into a positive, and how can we actually use these things to get the best out of it? I am looking to your past position, and spiritually and psychically what I'm seeing, especially because the key's in reverse here in the past position, you may have felt that you didn't have the right fit. You may have felt that maybe you didn't have the right methods. You're like, you know, going through the 7 stages of healing. Some of these things can be kind of cropping back up again, and you're really racking your brain as to when this breakthrough is going to happen, when the shoe is going to land, when the information is going to land for you, so that you can have this direct breakthrough. A lot of times within the separation, or when there's crosswise within the communication, we definitely are wondering, what is that magic source? How do we get that magic source going so that we can have those breakthroughs? So I do see a little bit of confusion in the context of this. And yes, it can be causing disillusionment, but definitely what we're wanting to do is turn the ship around. And I really do feel Divine Feminine here in the mix. Regardless of how disillusioned they may feel, I definitely do feel as though Divine Feminine's biggest intention is to turn the ship around. Some of it we must understand is on another person's side, and that can be the difficulty. It's because we are looking at it and saying to ourselves, hey, is the power, away from us? Do we directly have power in the context of this? How can we bring that luck? Now, again, with the card at the heart of the read, I do see this as, it can be a synchronistic timeline. This can be to do with Christmas. This is also to do with a wish. This also is really going within the heart space. And I did say with the crowning energy, I do really feel we are healing the heart chakra. Okay. We're healing the heart chakra. We're trying to turn this luck around. We're really having, Chiron and Aries. Mercury retrograde, for instance, can relate to the higher heart chakra as well as the throat chakra and base chakra. Your heart's desires is ready to come true. And it's like making a wish upon a star. It's almost like I'm seeing spiritually the star card in Tarot. But, the biggest way one can actually manifest is from the heart, is trying to get into that peaceful space, trying to, heal that heart so we can be open to it without being protective. Divine Feminine at the moment is healing that so you can be a little bit reluctant, even if it is your heart's desire. There is this reluctancy to be open to it because of past tense trauma. I do see this situation hasn't finalised, though. And when we say finalised, there's always cycles. There are always things that are evolving, shifting and changing. There can be a feeling of distance. There can be a feeling that you're coming from two different worlds, two different viewpoints. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. The yin to the yang also can be something that really harmonizes you. So it's seeing both the light and the dark, because both polarities directly exist. But I do particularly feel, in looking to the future, a lot of you are feeling this is a direct impossibility. So there is detachment that's coming through, but there also can be a cycle intuitively that you're tuning into with this individual, and you're feeling that potentially they're wrapping a cycle up. And because of that, it's causing a stagnation and delay. Okay. Yeah, again, Scorpio energy is really cropping up in Divine Feminine. So I did mention this, especially within the super chats. Depending on when you view this, especially if we've got wounds, it's that, it's what's hidden. It's what's lurking. Sometimes this can come through in a shape or form of self-sabotage. Sometimes we can feel something is ever so final. And we do have the letting go card here. I feel this is more to do with the shadow than a direct individual. I also feel some of you can be a tad disillusioned. If this is happening to you, it's actually happening for you, because what happens when we do let go, it's not that we're letting go of the physical person, it's letting go of going through the mulling over it intellectually, which I really think is going to crop up quite a bit over the next 3 weeks, especially with these blasts from the past coming back. But we have this apprehension that, is this something that's actually spiritually holding us back? Is a wound holding us back? Is it the direct individual? What is holding us from our destiny? And I am seeing the spiritual energy. It's almost like the returning to innocence. On this card, there's a cross. It's almost like the tree of life right near the woman's head. And she's meditating upon this circumstance. She's like, how do I protect myself in this instance? How do I let these shadow energies go so I can be more present and I can actually utilize this? Do I need to leave something behind? And this leaving behind situation does not have to be counterpart. This also can be a wound. It can be a physical circumstance that is bogging you down in your life and you're feeling it's preventing you from reaching your full success. And I do see you really meditating upon this circumstance and trying to find your bliss. Again, I'm noticing she does have a jewel that is sitting right above the heart chakra. What you are walking away from is dark energy. What you are becoming more protective of is protecting yourself against dark energy. Within the coaching session, we're talking about this. And a lot of times when a karmic is having a connection to us in some shape or form, or they're around twin, for instance, they are in the long run a benefit towards us. And this is because we do become quite immune to it, quite intuitive when somebody is speaking BS. So we intuitively then can take direct action, hear the words that aren't being said, seeing the body language, and then we can take action that does protect us. So our wounds inadvertently do end up being a positive weapon, because then we can protect ourselves and place our chess pieces in positions effectively to protect us forward tense. I do feel you've learned a lot about people. I do feel this isn't to do with the green-eyed monster. For some of you, yes, this can be, and it's something that can crop up. You know, when we do look at judgment, we have the judgment card here, and it's 9. Yeah, it's the Trinity energy. It's 2's company, 3's a crowd. Trinity energy doesn't, there's always light and dark with every polarity. Again, the green is the heart chakra. It's in reverse, free from judgment, free to love. I feel to a degree, it's almost like you just simply don't know what to do. You also do feel when it does come to third party energy, you're very apprehensive to do with it. And you're like, look, you don't want to attract juju. You don't want to attract drama. You're tired of getting dragged down the rabbit hole with these circumstances. Some of you could be thinking, is there just going to be another karmic? Are there going to be interferences? Again, for some reason, I am psychically tuning into this subject matter really linking to your future. So it's if you were to reconcile, if you are in reconciliation, it's almost like you're meditating upon the future and potential obstacles that are coming. And it's odd because generally I would say don't do that. But for some intellectual reason, it's almost absolutely necessary. So I do see you being extremely realistic with this circumstance and going, okay, these are the potentials. You know, how directly can I look at this in a healthy way? But I still do believe you are living very much in the now. And I think that is going to be your saving grace, is by living in the now, but also being aware of potentials that could come. I do feel this huge energy of wanting to level up. And I feel it's like, you know, when we are saying this person needs to level up, it always does come down to us as well. So there's two sides to every coin. And sometimes the strictness of that can be that we're trying to go into it very mature and seriously. But we're feeling potentially that another individual is not doing this. I also feel you could have some very serious subjects that are coming up for you between now and January. And again, I would say this is fluid energy. If you do land on this video, this also can link to a situation point blank that you are dealing with, which is future tense. Now, the no nonsense energy, it's time to talk sense. It's saying what you mean what you say. It's following through. So no idle threats. You know, being very direct. And I definitely talked about, you know, needing to be very clear, because many times when we do communicate with each other, we may accidentally misinterpret what is said. If you are reflecting upon the past, the situation also directly applies, because sometimes we accidentally do presume we know why people reacted in a way, and sometimes rejection is the universe's protection. So many times it's a compliment upon you when they have actually retreated back, and they did move back because they were protecting you, because they felt that you deserved better. I do see these individuals coming back towards you. However, for you, I do feel you can be at this point in time a tad bit guarded. There's a bit of a spiritual test here. And again, I did say, do you want to turn your wounds into weapons? And I do mean that in the most positive way. I mean really turning them about, not turning them into the more malefic energy of Scorpio, which is vengeance, anger, projection, you know, screaming. But it's more, okay, how can I shift this about? A true queen is going to sit with that energy. A true queen is going to at times actually say, hey, am I being the karmic in this instant? What part do I directly take in this? That's not to say that some of the circumstances that you guys have gone through have not been horrific. Trust me, I completely empathize. I am one myself, and I did go through those circumstances myself. And if anyone had come and told me otherwise, I would have probably told them to go hoot. So it is not making The experiences that you had less, it's trying to aid you to get to a space that you can have power back in your hands, feeling more positive, feeling more empowered. And by looking at the other side of the coin, we can have some revelations that, some of the reasons why these things occurred. Because what we do want is really effectively to get to the root cause of problems so it never occurs to us again. And that is within anyone as well as with counterpart. I do feel some of you aren't wanting any more responsibility than you currently have. And it's funny because this is wanting to be queen. Some of you may be thinking you're just never going to be that for this person. Some of you also could be feeling in the context of your own personal lives, why do I have to carry so much? We are this month, unfortunately, going to feel a tad bit disillusioned. Neptune going into shadow, direct, like I mentioned, especially for the coaching sessions, can make us feel foggy and like there's no direction. This probably was the best month to really do some internal work, connect with people from the past, recenter ourselves, make plans, but keep fluid with them, and not necessarily overburden ourselves because our energy will be quite depleted until the end of the month. There is something that we're needing to adult with. There's something maybe we don't want to adult with. I can relate to this. It's like, why do I have to be the bigger person? Why do I need to address this? I also feel some of you are feeling as though you're tired of saying the same thing over and over again. You're not directly putting it out into the universe totally. But some of you are just like, look, I'm going to be single. But there is a spiritual test here. It's asking you to go into your heart. It's asking you to turn those terrible things into something positive because those things that happen to you, if you can step back and you can look at both sides of the coin, this can actually aid you. Yeah, there's definitely a lesson here. There's definitely something you're learning. This can be the art of communication. It can be how you can rise above adversity. It can be how you can turn lemons into lemonade. But there is a spiritual test here. Are you going to pass it? Are you going to throw in the towel, and quit? There's also going to be other things we need to directly address. There also could be a circumstance in your own personal life that you're sort of calling to fate. And it's not that you're jealous, you're disillusioned. You're like, I just haven't found the right method. I don't really know how to deal with this. Almost making sacrifices for other people, and it's lowering your energy. And we can feel like the whole world's on our shoulder. Being divine and being a human being point blank zero does require in modern society these days for us to be both the man and the female. And so that can be a bit of a burden, especially when other people come towards us and they're needing on us. We can have circumstances also surrounding subjects to do with family and siblings that can be cropping up here. Now, in the context of love, I do see divine feminine. I can't say runner. I can't necessarily say there could be a circumstance you could turn into a runner. If you are, you will note it where you are running away potentially of obligations, personal obligations, in avoidance of such. Maybe wishing that you could have more help, which is totally human. You're not bad for that. But the runner energy could be, do I need to give up on this? Sometimes that can be a positive thing in the ascension because it is linked to the 7 stages of healing. And I do recall sitting back one day and saying, over my 25 years on the journey, what was the synchronistic pattern whenever I had communication? One of them was disillusionment. One of them was to the point where I was thinking, I've really got to return to my life. I really have to start making plans for my life. And as soon as I did that, I would always get communication. Are you going to turn your wounds into power? How can you do that? I do directly think with knowing this person, it is your luck. With knowing their patterns, their habits, why things happened. If you can look at both sides of the coin, what worked, what didn't work. Each time you find something that didn't work, you're finding something that is going to work. If you know the karmic, what doesn't work with them? What does this person complain about? That is your weapon. Love and light. I'll see you next week for the update. If you want to come through and join us, come through. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other side. Take care, beautifuls.